Beautiful beings of the universe, welcome to now. As always, I will start this video with the beautiful fire element and the beautiful goddess Tara. I'm also going to light this incense for the purification of the energies around myself. So basically in this video I wanted to talk more about why you must follow and be unique just the way you are. So I'll just light this for the aura and the cleansing purification. And sometimes, if you feel that there is too much of heavy energy in your life, then you just need to let go of that. And many times, it's to do with cleanliness. So you've got to clean up the mess, probably in your house, probably in your closet, probably in your cupboard. Maybe you need to clean your fridge. Because you might think organizing the compartments in your mind, in your head, that might be too much, too many things going on, right? You are trying to organize too many things together in one shot. And whoever taught you about doing multiple things at once, because the society praises the fast, and understand this, the true growth in nature that you see, everything happens slowly. It's so slow that it's almost invisible. It's slower than the pace of a tortoise. It's slower than the pace of a snail. When a mother is pregnant with the child, she does not deliver the child in a day. She takes 9 months of gestation period. When an entire city is being built, you might think the development is going so slow. When a nation is being built, you might think it's too much chaotic because we just got out of freedom and there's too much organization to be done. But everything that is of value, that is worth it, happens slow. You take a look at the seasons in nature. So all the seasons come and go, and gradually you see the trees grow from a seed to a sapling to a young plant, and then gradually to a full matured tree, which lives out its entire life. And that might grow to many feet tall. But initially, if you take a look at the seed, it might be so tiny, and somebody who's never been aware of how the trees grow, they might think this is unreasonable for this tiny a thing to grow into such a massive tree. So this is about it. So why I'm talking about the speed is you cannot force upon speed. So for instance, if you are an athlete and you're preparing for a marathon, and if you force yourself that I just want to be the fastest, you cannot do that because your muscle needs to be trained. That muscle memory needs to be developed. And if you keep pushing, you will realize that your muscles will feel the tear down, and it will just get worn out. And pretty soon you would need the rest. And only after you have rested enough can your muscles recover back. So even if you see all these sprint runners, they're not continuously, like even for a 500-meter race, you see that they have prepared that speed and that stamina over years of practice. And that practice is what? That practice is about failing every single day. And the world just teaches you, society only taught you that somebody who keeps failing is a loser, but that's entirely false. The more the amount of failures that you get, more you are preparing on your next step to success. Because if you do not fail enough times, you're only postponing your own crown. So for instance, to go from place A to place B, you've got to cover for instance, 5 kilometers. So unless and until you do not walk that 5 kilometers, you will not arrive at that destination. But if somebody keeps checking on you and laughing at you, stating, you've only arrived 1 kilometer, loser, that's completely stupid because you know that you're in the journey. Until you have not arrived, you've not arrived. You've got to keep making the next move. So you'll often find these fools who are trying to laugh at you and who think that your failure is the end. First of all, you must stop thinking about the people, because people, they if somebody has already decided that they do not like you and they do not see the spark of shine or light that you hold, and of course you have your darkness, and same as your hater, they too have got both the things, because every person is born with these two, the dark and the light. But since you understand the game of life, and you understand that you do not want to be wasting your energies in these low level games that people want to drag you down to, so you just let them be who they are, and you keep focusing on your own growth. You keep focusing on things that matter to you. And you might think that, but how come all of the energies are anti me? How come there's so much of resistance? Because this is the nature of life. Anytime you try to grow and any sort of creativity, whether you want to create something new, the nature, the universe, the world, the society, which are all one and the same, are going to be very doubtful about that, are going to be very much there. You would always find there's an equal and opposite amount of resistance that you would face on your journey towards your own self expansion. And understand this, all of the things that we call as things of success is just a very thought, is just about the expansion of your consciousness. So people might think, oh, I'm not into spirituality, but all of your material success is in turn linked to you experiencing your own advanced state of consciousness. There's no other way out. So anybody who says I'm not spiritual and I'm a heavy materialist, it's just the same thing as how the day turns into night. And you cannot be heavily identified with only the light element and not the dark. And likewise, a person who is a heavy materialist, who you might call very evil, they do not know why do they choose to have those choices in their own existence. Just like how you cannot explain why you are more towards the spirit, towards the light, towards truth, towards things that are true. And just the very opposite way, the opposition, the opponents, your haters, or the demonic side or the evil side as we call it, they are not aware because they were just born that way. They were just created that way. So, whenever you feel that your energies are just being taken out and torn down and divided into too many directions, and whatever you're trying doesn't seem to work, know that you need to go through those failures. You need to keep on knocking on those doors that doesn't work before the real door that is meant for you. So to you right now it might seem like a lot of hit and trial because you are trying out knocking on this door, doesn't open, then you go to the next door, doesn't open. So all this while you call them as failures, but all of these are attempts. Every time somebody tries to be mean to you and try to devalue your existence out of jealousy, out of insecurity, out of whatever, or because they've been paid or whatever. Because in this day and age, even people do not have their own intelligence to decide who they like and who they not. Everything is just being outsourced via somebody. So if I pay you this much amount of money to go and slander someone or ruin their image or just type 10 hate comments on their channel, and you would find a lot of bots doing that. And I'm not saying that you should feel sad, but you should see to it that that is the nature of life. Whenever you're going to create anything that is worth it to you, at least to you, it should make sense. you're going to find a lot of opposition, you're going to find a lot of resistance. But as long as you keep dancing to the beat of what the society told you, that means to be coward, that means to be submissive, that means you just keep doing, go along to get along. As long as you do not have your own voice, you do not question why. I will do this, but if something doesn't seem right to me, why should I do that? So as long as you keep going along with them, going along with this, nobody has got a problem. But that is also not true, because eventually there's no pattern to life. So if you think, if you trying to be invisible is going to keep you safe, just because you saw some other person of light who are doing their own thing, and they being targeted by the world outside, and you thought that, okay, let me just be small and let me just hide myself, because who wants to expose themselves to this madness and chaos and violence in the world outside, just because you chose to be yourself, just because you chose to shine. You're going to die, and you're going to die a death, and your life is going to be equivalent to death, because you are naturally suppressing your own soul voice that says that you've got to expand. Expansion is the nature of life. But we live in a world where they tell you to just stay small, else I'm going to attack you, else I'm going to kill you, else I'm going to destroy you. This is the opposite side, the dark side of the yin and the yang. And you might feel even inside of yourself whether the resistance is not just from the world externally, the resistance is equally inside of you. So if you think I should wake up early, there's a lot of resistance in you. There's a lot of resistance in you when you realize that you're not hungry, but still you find yourself drawn to snacks, even though you know very well that you should not eat. You know you should not be wasting your time watching mindlessly, but there is a side of frustration energy in you which tells, anyway, no matter how much you try, it's not working. So just cut the crap and let me just enjoy. Let me just eat tasty food, spicy or oily stuffs, and binge watch. So that resistance is inside of you, and that's why before you actually even make this statement that the hater energy is too much out there and the world is evil, which is the case, I'm not denying that, which absolutely is the case. You Everybody has got a lot of enemies, and everybody that is born is facing their own opposite side, their own opposite opposition, which is a resistant force that tells them to not grow. A child faces that through the control from their parents. Every child faces that. Then that child becomes the student, and they face an equal amount of resistance in school, in the education system, which tells you this is how you have to be. And the pressure of conformity is just insane, because the true natural form of life, growth that happens, is natural. Like it's so much like you can see how a tree grows. It doesn't have a structure, but when you put a child into that sort of a system, it's like you're making everybody like a fixed looking bonsai plant. And the plant then has got to grow exactly in this condition. There's a lot of criteria, there's a lot of parameters to it. So we know that this sort of an education system is wrong throughout the world, but nobody challenges that, because they see what is the other way out. Because you would still be in the same system which tells you, which is going to ask you for, show me what you have. Did you fit into our system so that we could in turn take you in? And no matter if there's somebody like, for instance, Sadhguru, he was not into any sort of a major institute, but just take a look at his intelligence, his consciousness, his divine spark, of what a service to the entire world he has been. But that needs a lot of courage, that needs a lot of patience, and that needs a lot of perseverance, because he worked for good 50, 40 years without thinking about what is in it for me. what isn't it for me? And we all want to work by that because there's no love for what we are truly doing. We all just want to live through a we are all living as a means to an end. And if something doesn't give you result, you don't want to do it. So you do not know what love is, even in regards to what is it that you truly love. So this thing on trending things, like this is the upcoming trend, and everybody just takes a look at that and follows and tries to be a certain way and follow that exact trend. So even in that, you see there's nothing new. Everything is just like everything is already being chewed and everyone is chewing the chewed. There's nothing new. There is nothing new. So since there's nothing new, you might as well just create whatever sounds right to you, even though it's most unheard of, though it's most somebody would have never seen or heard such sort of a thing before. Because you see, everybody is trying to fit in because everybody is so much scared that if I'm excluded, the prices is a lot and I don't want to pay. I want to take. So I want to do something and everybody just wants to monetize without thinking like is it something that I'm truly creating which means something to me, which makes some sense to me. And I don't know what does this thing even mean to be you, because who are you is also a lot of output from the way the world has molded you, the society how it has molded you. And even if you say that I'm an introvert and I keep to myself and I do not have socialize externally a lot, even then your YouTube algorithm, the things that you watch, everything is already fed by by the algorithm that knows very well what you like and what you don't like. And how did you, if you go back, and how did you actually develop what is it that you like and what is it that you don't like? You cannot say. And when you actually zoom into all of this, then you see that do you actually have the free will? Then you also see that is there any point in you fighting the demons? Or is it that you fight just because I fight my haters and my demons and the energy vampires whenever they try to push my buttons. And I do get very outrageous. But I think that is only the reaction. That's our reaction to the wrong that was done, because it was unjust, it was manipulation, it was lie, and you can see through clearly what is a lie. And system keeps on feeding you lies and you just challenge that, and then they say there's no it's like your voice is unheard. So so you just go through the motions. So first you see when somebody triggered your buttons, whether it's that situation or something unpleasant that you faced in your life, and then that situation has the power that you get to react. And after a while you see that energy come down, and after a while you see that things don't have effect on you anymore. And after a while you also see that the opposition, your hater, your enemy, is in turn another machine, and you see the mechanism of that machine versus the mechanism of your machine. And when you see all of this is so much like automation, and then you do not feel the need to to even give any sort of a reaction. So for instance, sometimes you watch a comedy video and you laugh at it, and you laugh so loud so much that you feel that your organs in the body, the spleen, the liver, the kidney, the lungs, feel very happy. They feel very much joyful, and they truly get a good sense. That's why laughter is a medicine. Now, this is your perspective, and which is actually true. The same way the enemy, the opposition, when do they laugh? They laugh at your fall. They laugh at your failure. They laugh when they see you in pain or they see you lose. But even though the intention is negative, but they are also secretly just, everyone's intention is they want to feel good. They want to feel happy inside themselves. Now, somebody's intention might be malicious, that I'm so jealous of you. Anytime you create something, I just cannot stand you. I want to get rid of you. And sometimes when your enemies see you that you are suffering, they feel very happy. They feel very much joyful. That's their joy. Your misery is their joy. And if you ask why, there's no answer to why is it. Because this is the nature of existence. This is how the world is. The entire world is split into the two, yin and yang. But if you feel, and I think deep inside everybody thinks that they are right. Nobody ever thinks inside their own mind that I'm being evil. Because even if somebody who has the maximum power in the world and they said, I want to push the button for world war, they would also think and be able to rationalize this thing that this war is for the good, because there's enough evil on the planet and it's better that all of the filth of humans be wiped out, because there is zero humanity left now, and people are no more caring for each other. So in their mind they can very much justify this thing, and there have been enough justifications for the wars in the history. All of the war through their lens is justified because it has got a good cause. So all the bloodshed that happened, all the wars, all the destruction that happened, these people in power feel that it is justified. Just like, let's talk about the inequality in the world. So just like the inequalities in the world, so they would say, I'm going to divide the world into these two parts, wherein one gets the privilege and the other one, we are going to stamp onto their rights. And then they would help them and call them, yeah, we are giving you food packets and medicine and supplies because we care for you. But initially, if there was no divide like this, it could be a nice mutual and harmony based world wherein everybody lives in harmony, wherein you grow one thing and the other grows another stuff, and then we all just live out of exchange. And there's balance. That's how a true beautiful world can be and should be. But since this is not the case, so we have got inequalities and war and so much in distribution throughout the world. So my message that I started with is that you should absolutely be yourself and create and say and make the stuffs that seems most genuine and most honest to you, because because this is what is needed in this day and age. And what else could you do? I'm not saying uh, like, because if you're thinking from the other way of how the society should be able to make to consume what I've created, that's quite a roundabout way of making things. I'm talking about creativity. So the first thing that we must start with is make something that feels nice to you. And in order to do that, you might have references from other artists, from other people who you get inspired by. But absolutely, it's your right that you put in everything that you can in order to make that thing that you're creating beautiful. And to begin with, of course, you're going to take some references. Like I've also been very much interested in sacred geometry. So I drew some of the flower of life. Like I'll show you this one. This is the flower of life, and I used a compass and a protector to draw all of these. And the more I was drawing it, I was just so much drawn by the beauty of symmetry. And symmetry is so beautiful. And how, if you actually go and if you are doing the making the circles in the right way, how come there is no disharmony? Everything is exactly like how the previous circle is, and all of the flowers that you see are exactly of the same shape and size. So there's so much precision, there's so much of uniformity, there's that beauty. And then I also use the protractor to draw just these semicircles just for the uniformity, because why we like uniformity is because life in itself is chaos, and you might not find much of a symmetry, but through the geometry you find there's a lot of symmetry. Then this was the another one that I made, just plain geometry figures that I wanted to draw. Some helix, some triangles, few flowers of life. This was the third art that I made. Consecutive set of five triangles because the stencil set that I got, that was having exact same size, small size triangles, and this was the flower of life that I made. And I also colored it in fluorescent and pink. So, coming to creating what you truly want and what is it that you actually vibe along with, a lot of it you would get to know through basically things that you like, things that you enjoy. And if you say, I do not know, then you would soon be shown with what you don't like, and then you eventually arrive at what you like. But in order for all of this, you need integrity. You need to be honest with yourself. You need not fall into the BS of others who tell you, oh, this is nothing and that is nothing, because first off, you would get such sad vibes from somebody who's not listening to their own call, but who's just a puppet. And you are not a puppet. You want to live and create for real things that actually vibe along with your soul. So to this integrity, you've got to be honest with yourself. And I mean absolute honesty is needed. So I'm going to read out this beautiful poem from Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching, that I've been reading. This one is on integrity. So it says, those who of old got to be whole. And then it goes on, heaven through its wholeness is pure, earth through its wholeness is steady, spirit through its wholeness is potent, the valley through its wholeness flows with rivers. The 10,000 things through their wholeness live. Rulers through their wholeness have authority. Their wholeness makes them what they are. Without what makes it pure, heaven would disintegrate. Without what steadies it, earth would crack apart. Without what makes it potent, spirit would fail. Without what fills it, the valley would run dry. Without what quickens them, the 10,000 things would die. Without what authorizes them, rulers would fall. The root of the noble is in the common. The high stands on what's below. Princes and kings call themselves orphans, widowers, beggars, to get themselves rooted in the dirt. A multiplicity of riches is poverty. Jade is praised as precious, but its strength is being stone. So, what a beautiful way of explaining things about integrity. To have integrity means to be humble. So, despite you being a massive leader, a massive king, a massive prince, a massive one somebody who's very achieved and successful, still you stay connected to your root. Like you know that you started as a seed. So I like this book because it whenever you feel like there is some sort of an imbalance inside of you between the light and the dark aspect, because you know that you are equally and heavily working on your shadow aspect, which is dark and dangerous. And as you move into the dangerous zone of yourself, you feel that you might be losing your ground. You might feel more fluid in your body. You might be feeling like you're more like coming from the earth element and now you're flowing more towards the water. So you feel that there's lesser gravity, lesser resistance. But now, as you have gone from the earth to the water element, you feel that it has got no shape. It's not solid, right? So you might feel yourself very unstable because you're moving to the unknown, and gradually this staying in the earth element, you basically tend to act like, yeah, I know this and I do this because that's what I've been doing and I made the plan. But then suddenly you find yourself something has changed and a lot has changed. Things that used to excite you before, it doesn't anymore. Things that used to bring a lot of passion in you before, it doesn't now. And you might feel your interest suddenly fade away, and you might feel lost. What is it that I truly want to create? What is it that I'm truly looking towards? Do I have a goal? And you find the answer is no, and you're honest about it, and you still keep going because you just see where does the life take you next, because you understand that life is a journey. Life is a very strange journey, and if you see the path in front of you is straight, that's because it's not your own path. You're walking somebody else's path and trying to act like you're solid, but that's not solidity. That is based on your own decision. You're living somebody else's life. You're a clown, you're a copycat, and I'm not interested in any of them because I'm all about original, raw, creative, fire, feminine energy. That's what I'm talking about. So the next poem on Lao Tzu's book Tao Te Ching is By No Means, poem number 40, that says, return is how the way moves. Weakness is how the way works. Heaven and earth and the 10,000 things are born of being. Being is born of nothing. Return is how the way moves. Weakness is how the way works. See? Heaven and earth and the 10,000 things are born of being. Being is born of nothing. So you see, there's so much of content in this. Before you create, you must come to a space of complete stillness. Being, which is just you being, just your very existence, just your I am presence. And the world always wants to keep on distracting you, buy this, buy that. Now there's this new AI technology. If you don't run, if you don't learn, you are left far behind. And you just take a look at the history. Since the time you born, you've been running. And that's not just your life, that's everybody's life. So the world is always trying to get your attention because your attention means a lot of value to them. Why else would they be after your attention? So they want to sell you courses and stuffs and read this and learn that so that you cannot be just sitting with yourself just in a plain state of being. Because the world is going to drive you mad and nuts till you die of mindless consumption. And that consumption is of food, that consumption is of products, that consumption is of wealth. That consumption, that overconsumption is what is killing you. And you just need to get rid of everything that is excess. Because that excess is what the world will clap for you, clowns would clap for you, is your death. Anything that you do not need and you have got that in excess, it's only going to cause you a lot of confusion. What do I do with this? And then the burden of choosing. If you have so many clothes, you're going to be so confused among choosing between 20 pair of shirts. And that's why when you go to a shopping center or to a shop, there are too many options, and that is so much draining. No wonder when you come back home, you feel so tired and you feel so drained because you wasted your energy just making mindless choices, going through so many aisles, counters, checking out so many stops, when all you wanted was something, maybe just a shirt or just a dress or just one shoe. But there, they show you 200 pair of shoes and your mind just gets confused. And the same thing is even if you shop online. If you just want a shoe and you see online in the product catalog, it's going to show you so many versions, so many stuffs, and then you're just going to do a window shopping on even online stores, and this is so much of a stealing of your attention. The true sense is that you be without the internet and just be with yourself. But why did this addiction to internet come in the first place? Is because of the world being so chaotic outside. You see, when you move out, there is so much of chaos in the world outside that you want a safe space, and internet gives you that. You can listen to the white whale noise and get lost in it, or listen to the sound of snow in a running train, and you feel that's very calming for your nerves, and you just sleep on that. So why do you need that safe space? Is because the world outside feels very unsafe, because we all want security, and that is not there. And that is the reason for the chaos in the world, for the madness in the world. And that's why internet created, first they create the problem of insecurity, of hate, through divide and distribution, through divide and rule basically. And then they would say, I've got a solution for you. First they would sell toxic plastic mixed food, and then when you fall sick, they would make some medicine for you, which would of course have its side effects. So what a roundabout way of living, of first creating the problem and then creating a solution. All of this is for what? Just so that there could be a circulation of money. But let's go back, and what is even money? Money is just an exchange of energy, because you do not just give your money to anybody. You do sometimes if it's charity, but even in that there is your vested interest. You want to feel good that I gave charity to this, or I fed so many people through this service that I did, and I feel glad. If you do not have your own self interest in that, you would not even do donation. So wherever there is money involved, there is an exchange of the two parties. Because of course we cannot live in an isolated world. We are all interconnected in some form or the other. And since we are all interconnected, we all can share and care for each other. Rather than trying to walk over someone, because that's what the society taught you, that if you do not see another person as a prey, then you're going to get eaten up. We need to change this mindset of predator and prey relationship. But how would you, when there are people who have a lot more, and then they pay others for hate? So, whatever be the case, the creation's root place is basically just being yourself. And even for you to be as who you are, society would tell you that you're wrong. But you must listen to your own inner gut instinct and see to it, is that really what I want? They would tell you to speak in a certain way, which is absolutely soulless, dull, pointless, which your soul doesn't feel alive. If you can learn a lot of things in a lot of ways that they teach you, but you must have a resonance for that. Your soul must feel alive with a certain thing, not just because some stupid person on the internet sells you a course that this is how you should talk, and then he keeps on just being so loud and so articulate that it's literally sounds like a violent attack from somebody. But just because this man has got, because he spent a lot on marketing and people are buying their course, and of course it would be somebody blind who wants to buy a trash person's course. And you might see the whole world like a market. Everybody's trying to say that you're not enough, so you must come and buy to what I'm going to sell you. Just use your own discernment, because this whole game is so rigged about stealing our attention, about all the time completely running so that you're never in the here in the now. So while all the time they are keeping on telling you that you need to run for this and you need to compete on this and you need to pass this test and you need to do that, because if you don't, be quick or be dead. You need to do this, you need to see that, you need to be here and do that, else you're going to have the fear of losing out. And you look at the life of these people who are ever running like hungry ghosts, never satisfied, always hungry and miserable and greedy. There's no joy in them. You don't want to be living like a zombie like them. So when the ignorant people will see you with peace, they will see you with calm bliss and joy. They want to steal that and they want to attack that, what they don't have. Because your very existence, your way of living is a big challenge to all the liars out there. And that's the reason why why they hate you. Because they don't like the fact that you're so gutsy to be on your own path, to be just having the courage to not be a coward like the rest of the ignorant people. And that's what is basically the reason for a lot of opinions and projections about you, and this whole world is just a projection world. But you realize that though you are completely living this life in your own truth, in your resonance of what seems right for you, you're also aware of the nature of their existence, which is like a machine. That is because not that's not what they chose basically, and nobody chooses. It is how it is. And when you see things for how they are, the right action just springs out of the state of being. You do not have to sit and overthink and plan for it. Should I fight this? Was that wrong? Or was that natural? Or was that my mistake? And should I accept it? Yes. No. Where should I go? What is my next action? You just find yourself suddenly in the lap of the very now moment, just now. And you might find your mind is so clear. It's so clear like a still water. It's so clear, it's so still like a lake without any ripples. Because you did not touch the lake, you did not throw any stone in it. And rest of the time, your mind is like waving, storming river, ocean. Too many things going on. And when there's so much of chaos, so many tides clashing against each other, how are you supposed to think clearly? How? Because before you can act, there must be the right thinking. And right thinking comes from just a state of being. That's why people do meditation or do activities that keeps them in the very much present moment. And that could be anything. That might be walking. Even your walk, if you focus on one step after the another, that could be a thing of meditation. Or if you are making a painting, that is definitely meditation. You begin any art that needs all of your presence. You cannot be scratching your ear with one hand and drawing with another hand. You've got to be completely aware and present to the next move of the pencil or the pen. Or even when you're cooking, basically your entire life can be a meditation. Or even when you're gardening, looking carefully to the plant, what it needs. Did I overgive it excess of water that it seemed to wilt? Or do I need to take out the excess of dry stems? Or maybe someday I need not water it because it is already logged with water from yesterday. Or maybe someday I just need to give it some good juice or some sort of a manure for it to grow. So everything comes from being, and you cannot even force you coming into your being, because basically there's nothing that you can do, and your whole life is a happening. You did not choose to be born, but you were born. You did not choose to live and do things the way, but things happen, and then you claim, I made the decision. I made the decision to do this job, and I made the decision to not do that job. I made the decision, I went to the store and I bought a white color shirt and not a red color shirt. But you do not know the thousands of pre-steps that would have followed you before why you bought that white shirt. And it might be that somebody you saw on the internet was wearing a nice white shirt and you might have been impressed. Or you might have seen in your office one of your colleague who was nicely dressed in a white dress and you wanted to buy a white color dress. But you call that as that was my will. I wanted to buy a white color shirt because I chose that. Whatever. So if there is no free will, it feels light. And whenever you're too much in chaos, because the energy of the world is just strange, then you might just stay aware of, like how that beautiful book of Paulo Coelho that I read last year, Warrior of Light, and he says that whenever you are in doubt or in confusion about what you have to do next, just take the reminder as death. Death is your best friend to make you realize that there's nothing that can take you more, that has got more control over you than the fear of death. So all of your fears of the world is just a tributary, is just a subset of the massive set of death. So just coming aware of your mortality, that tends to get rid of almost all of the negativity that the world would try to throw upon you so that they can control you through their manipulation or through their lies or through their fear that if you don't do this, I'll do that to you. Or you are being watched. We are surveillancing you. Everybody is being watched. Everybody is going to die. Everybody is having hell of problems in their lives. So when you realize that all of us are in the same boat, you don't give value to something that is so least significant and that has got a lot of weight and power in it to get rid of your burden. So you might see that a certain problem is a problem unless and until there's another problem comes that is bigger than that, and then your previous problem seems to diminish. Just look at your life. Some problem that you faced last month or last week, that was sorted and that was replaced by another problem. And in this sequence, your whole life carries on, and everyone's life is an infinite series of problem solving. So to think that I've just solved that was the last problem in my life, that is very untrue. Because that is the nature of existence. Life challenges you throughout your life from the day you are born till you will die. And in Tibetan Book of the Dead, in the Bardo, they say even after dying, your soul still has got it's ever more busy than what it was while you were awake. So if you think that life is chaos, see what happens after death. So you are never free because you are energy, and energy cannot ever be destroyed. It can change its forms. So in this lifetime you're in this body, and then once your body is dropped dead, then you are burnt or you are buried or whatever you do, or you are eaten up by animals or birds if you live in forest, and you are returned back to the earth. Either case, you're going to get back to the earth because you are soil made. You are made of soil, and you from the dust you go back to the dust. When you stay in this awareness, this knowing, then no amount of lies of the world, of the ignorance, of the dark side, of the demon side can affect you. But rather, you use this thing as courage. You use your death as an advisor. You're not scared of it. You take it as an advisor. And it's precisely in your moment of dying, of letting go, is when you will get the energy and the clarity and the right action emerges. There is the birth of the right action, not the other way. So anytime you feel that you're walking on your truth, you're walking on your path of just the right, you're doing exactly right what your soul wanted you to, and there is a lot of clown energy around and who laugh at you and who mimic you and who copy you and still never ever be you but downplay you, try to make you look like you are insignificant and you are stupid. You should never believe the lie, because as long as you're in the light, you would be taken care of. And what is God? God is light, God is truth, God is courage. And many times you would find yourself fighting with the light, you would find yourself fighting with the gods because God is asking you too much to do. This is a war where you have just entered all alone, and the battlefield is massive. But God tells you that you got to go. You should keep going. This is your training. This is the fire in which you are trained. And that's why they would never be you, and you are going to shine like a diamond. Because others, they would choose the comfort of being a coward and being a simp and being a sissy and trying to trash talk about somebody who has the courage to to be themselves, and that needs a whole lot of courage. Nobody has that courage. That's why when you find people laugh at you, that's because all this while they wanted to be you. They just so badly wanted to have the courage to be like you. But they chose cowardice, they chose to shrink their light. And because they lied to their own soul, they hate you because every time they see you, you remind them of what they could have been, but they never ever chose to be that. That's why their hate is so real. And you do not hate your enemies. Like, of course, you do not like them, but you do not hate them. And you just see to them in turn like a mirror. You see to them like your shadow. What are they trying to teach you? Because you understand that nothing in this life is for without a reason. Everything is for the reason. Even your haters, even your enemies, they are there to bring out the best in you. So they are your masters in many ways. You can learn a lot from looking at your enemy, from looking at the way the society plans against you. There is a sort of intelligence, though demonic, but there is their intelligence. And if you study that, you get to see what they are doing. And just by watching, by you watching the evil in the world, in the society outside, you get to learn a lot. And this they are not going to come and tell you that come to me, I will teach you. Your boss is not going to tell you how he would play evil tricks. Your colleague are not going to come and tell you. On your face, they would smile. In your family dynamics, a lot of your relatives, they might talk nice in front of you only to get information from you. Some of your friends, they might just come and talk nice to you just because they want certain information from you. So you see the world. It's not about ignoring the world. You do a very good handshake with the world and you watch people, society, situation, communities, government, entire setup, this whole life that is in front of you. You watch every single thing with complete awareness. And let people laugh at you. That's not your problem. Your problem is just to stay as who you are. Your problem is just to see things as how it is, and it's not a problem. It needs a lot of awareness. It just needs a lot of clearing of the dust, which is not important. Why people laugh at you and why people talk about you and why people do stuff is only so that you could stay deluded, so that you lose your focus. When Buddha was meditating, while he was doing all of these scientific experiments with his own life, getting deep inside every single cell, like just imagine the amount of, no wonder he's God, right? Why the world calls Buddha God? Because he understood how all of this complex body mechanism, every cell in the body, how it works, and then he not only looked at the state and the existence of the cells now, but he could see all of his past lifetimes of how those cells, how all of this could track back. And he could see his past lifetimes. Imagine the amount of effort that would have gone into to be able to realize. Because to me, the maximum, if I, as long as far back in my memory I can go to, I can only see to myself as 4 year old, but behind that, I don't know. So for somebody to know their past lifetimes just through sitting and meditating is a very bigger deal for me. And I would like to know if Buddha could do that, and he prescribed these practices. Like if you do Vipassana, which is about following your in breath and out breath, and also seeing that between the two there is a gap. But all of this needs to not be addicted to the distractions. So either there are the distractions of addictions of watching one interesting food channel, one after the other, binge watching, or the distraction sent you away from the world outside through their hate. Hate is a very big distraction, and no wonder the society is divided so much and so much energy being given to hate, because that gives you a lot of distraction. So first you feel the distraction and then you recognize it. Yes, I've been distracted either through greed or through fear. And then you want to see, like, when am I going to get rid of this energy that has just gotten hold over me? Whether it's fear or a desire that you want to arrive at some place in the future. So, being aware that you've been distracted, that you've been manipulated, and then getting back the attention on what is it that matters. If you're meditating and just focusing on your in breath and out breath, then being aware of that with sitting, with keeping your spine straight. A straight spine is such an essential practice. And don't just take it for spiritual that, okay, I'm not meditating, why should I keep my spine straight? But even other ways, while you're working, while you're studying, or while you're just walking, if you keep your spine straight and not hunched like this, which is a natural habit now because we are so much addicted to our phones. So we are all the time like this, and you will find that the moment you keep your spine straight, you feel a very good posture in your body, and you feel uh, suddenly that contraction in your body has just disappeared just because you are sitting and walking straight. Keeping your spine erect, that's so essential. And in this position with your spine erect, you can chant, you can work, you can sit, you can draw, you can do whatever you want to do. But being aware of your spine position, this is very critical. So the society wants to put you in fear that what if you slow down, they're going to call you slow and stupid and lazy. But what if all this is the lie, and what if that is what you truly are seeking? You want to live in a real way wherein you feel most alive. But how could you if you're all the time running? If all the time you're just running around? So create a sacred space in your home, wherever it be. Just keep it calm, clean, beautiful. Light a candle and just watch the flame with your spine erect. Do not turn on anything. Do not turn on any music. Of course, if there are too much noise outside, then you might need to put on the headphone with white noise or binaural beats on 8 hertz. But if that is not the case, if the environment outside is silent, do not play any music. Just listen to your own breath. Just watch the flame. You might want to feel the heat of the flame, to feel your senses, to feel your touch sense, your fingertips. And sometimes there's nothing to do. Sometimes all you might just want is just to sit and just to be with your own self, which is very good, which is very nice. Or sometimes you might just want to go on a nice walk in nature and just feel the fresh breeze. Feel it open your lungs. Or look at a beautiful piece of jewelry. Like, even this can be like meditation. I keep this on my table always because this reminds me of how beautifully the artist has designed it, even though it was by a machine. But this is so beautiful, and every act, every every aspect of this is beautiful. So I just keep this on my table because I see watching over something of beauty, even though it's a beautiful earring or a beautiful necklace or a beautiful gemstone like this, it just tends to make your mind quiet and it makes you very still. You become very quiet and peaceful. And that's what you want. You want to be not distracted. You do not want noise all the time. There's a time for action, but understand this that the action and the silent are not two. Action is the child of the silence. So just be about it and keep your attention to yourself. Do not give away your attention to the noisy traffic, to the noisy cars, because if you give your attention to that, then naturally you would feel that I've been distracted. But if you keep focusing on, and it's not that you're not going to hear the noise of the traffic. Of course, there is traffic moving on the street, and you would get to hear that. But you watch the sound come from the silence, and you watch that sound disappear into the silence. You hear the sound of people talking or birds chirping or a strong wind that's very strong wind, and that might feel like your windows are just fluttering, the window covers, the window curtains, the blinds in the wind. So you just hear the sound, and then you also watch it fade. You're not trying to control anything externally. You're not trying to control anybody outside. Your whole attention goes inward. You're not trying to tell anybody to not make noise or not make noise in their heavy vehicles, or you're not trying to tell the traffic to stop. All you're doing is you're just observing and you're not reacting. So when I go for a walk, I hear the rush of vehicles on the street. I watch them come around frenzy, but then they disappear and they go back to where they came from. All these are just the flashes. And then you just walk in nature with fresh breeze, and you just feel the beauty of the big trees dancing in the wind. You see the beautiful greens of the trees, which is so beautiful. You see the richness in every tree, which is so healthy and so lush, and it's just so much laden with leaves, with flowers. There's immaculate beauty in nature. You look at the beautifully paved roads, and you also look at the beautiful society, look at the beautiful houses of people. When you walk on the street, you look at the beautiful decorations, the beautiful gardens of how people keep their gardens. And sometimes you find people talking to each other, and you also watch that. And sometimes you watch children play, and you watch that. And there's beauty in everything. And you need not speak a word to others that I appreciate your existence, but inside yourself, you say thank you to the existence. You don't say nothing to no one. You just keep moving in silence. Like last night, I went for a walk in the night around 12 o'clock, and it was so beautiful because I could see the how the road was just turning into a roundabout, and it was looking like a river to me. And the moon was so bright, so round and so white. It looked so unreal to me, as if somebody has put an LED light in the sky. And then there were clouds over the moon, and it was so beautiful. And you see some traffic moving, and you see some birds chirping, and you see the black sky and the trees, some still, and then suddenly there's wind, and you see the beautiful dance of the trees, and you just feel so wow, because this whole existence, when you watch it in awareness, there is beauty in everything, and you find beauty. And then you come back home and you just sleep, and you feel so good because you just took in more oxygen in your lungs. A good oxygenated lung makes you feel very very good. You are going to feel very happy. If you could just do some breathing exercises, or even if you don't do any breathing exercise, just feeling the fresh air, that is a medicine. Wind, air is medicine. Earth is medicine. Sun is medicine. Water is medicine. All these five elements, these are basically medicine. Basically, there's a medicine wheel. The medicine wheel, which shamans talk about. And I studied about that, and I found that very awesome, and I made a note on that. Can you see this? The circle is there, this wheel, and it is divided into four parts. And the four parts are north, south, east, west, four directions. The north corresponds to your mental state, which is white. North is white in color. So this medicine wheel is based on four aspects, and you distribute it by colors, and each color has got certain characteristics to it. So the north color is white, and then the second element is fire, which is yellow. Its element is sun, fire element. And then the third is red, and its direction is south. And the fourth one is black, and it is connected to the earth element, to the minerals. So, what it talks about, as you can see in this, so these four, north, south, east, west. North is white, south is red, fire is east, sun, and black is the earth. So basically, this talks about all the four regions of the world as well. And you would see how all of the four aspects of the four directions and the people, how we are all interconnected. So north means like Europe, which is white, which is more to do with the mental state, which has got cedar as its, for like the plant level, you could signify that as cedar, and from the nature it's winter. And the north region is more of elder. Elder what? It's in the state of elder state of being. It's elders in nature. All of this is about nature. It's not just about people, it's about everything in its wholeness. People, nature, animal, minerals, earth, fire, water, everything all together. Then the second aspect, which is sun, fire, east. So the east is yellow, which is more spiritual. The east is more spiritual. and their plant is tobacco. The season wise, it is spring, and its condition is more rooted to the tree. And instead of being, it starts from birth. It is young, it is birth, it is birthing itself. Then the next state is red. Red means about youth, which has got more to do with in the term of plant, like how in yellow that was tobacco, in the yellow state. Now in the red it becomes sage plant. It is more to do with the physical aspect. It is linked to the nature and the season summer. Then the fourth one is black, which is more to deal with the earth element, like minerals. And it has got more of emotional states. So where red was physical, yellow was spiritual, white was mental. This zone, the black, is emotional. It has its plant type as sweet grass. So like how in yellow it was tobacco, then in red it becomes sage, in black it is sweet grass. And its nature in in terms of season is fall. And at maturity level it's an adult. This is about the state of consciousness. It's an adult consciousness. Red is youth consciousness. Yellow is birthing consciousness. White is elderly consciousness. This medicine wheel is also called as the circle of life. Circle of life, wherein you are more connected, of being just more self aware. You have more self knowledge. And this is the circle of knowledge. All of the creation is interconnected. This whole world is interconnected. All the four aspects, the white, yellow, red, and black. Now you might think, where is brown and where is. So basically, brown and red could be put into one thing. That's what that channel that I followed it talked about. So red and brown can be mixed. Yellow is from the east, like Asians. White is more about Europe. Black is towards Africa. And red is Americas. So this talks about water and plants. Spirit live forever on earth and then to the spiritual world. So don't think just the end of your body is going to mean the end of you. Because this body is just a vessel. It's like you are sitting in a car and you are driving that car. Now in 7 or 10 years you might get bored of your car, or you might want to just replace that car with another one. But that doesn't mean that you have been replaced, because you are there in the same body but with a different car. So your bodily existence is like the car. And the soul inside of you, that's what is said in Gita as well, in Bhagavad Gita. Your soul keeps on taking reincarnations from bodies to bodies. Red is where the life begins, but the birth happens in yellow. Red is where it turns to youth. Life begins in red. So, water, copper, rock. These are the medicines. So many times you should wear a copper bracelet or a copper ring or a copper chain or a copper pendant, or just drink water in a brass or copper type of a cup or glass, because that is very good for your health. Yellow is for the plant and the medicines. And all of this, I took the information from Don Juan. who was a shaman in Mexico. So you should work from clarity, just from a state of being, not from chaos. So whenever you find yourself in chaos or the energy is restless inside of you, just wait. Just wait till the muddy waters of your mind comes to a still stand. And when you realize that your mind is now peace, zen, and still, that's when you will realize you do not have to plan on what my next action is going to be. You just need to sit with it and it will come up. You do not have to do things. You are not the doer. Things happen. Just allow it. Drawing sacred geometry can be very meditative, and also it brings in a lot of good energy and value. It brings in a lot of good auras in your life. So if you could go to a store, to a stationery store and buy yourself a good, nice, beautiful golden pen, and also buy yourself a black sheet or a notepad which has got all the black sheets in it, blank, blank, black. On that, using that golden pen, you can draw the flower of life, golden geometry, and you will get a lot of good energy from that. Because one thing is, beauty has got a lot of power, and beauty is in symmetry. When you see these sacred geometries or something beautiful like this beautiful necklace, or like this beautiful goddess Tara, or anything that is beautiful that has got, like for instance, this crystal lotus, right? Or you look at a flower that is so beautiful. That's why I have so much flowers in my house, because I love flowers. And I also appreciate beauty a lot, because beauty is what will save you. And beauty can be just anything, like this beautiful Chinese porcelain dish with beautiful colors like golden apple and green leaves, all in gold. So beautiful. It tends to take away your distracted mind into something which is more serene, which is more beautiful. Like, look at this beautiful balance. And why I got this balance? Because it also reminds me of my inner harmony, the balance between the light and the dark. So, how the dark propels you into action, but the white tends to bring more sanity to it. So, while you might be running too wild and just trying to make this whole sense out of what is it that I'm actually doing and when will I actually be able to complete that task, you realize that going into state of flow, like water, gives you stillness, and at the same time the work is being done too. So neither you become too lazy and drop it all, nor you become so mad and be fighting with the earth element. It's like a dance between the two. So there's a balance. So you might want to draw some sacred geometry so that you can just feel great. Just get a release from your own mental chaos. It's very much clearing. It's beautiful. So coming to this wheel of medicine, it talks about the east is the sun, which is your locus of control, the yellow aspect, the east. So your locus of control, which is spiritual, which is prayer, which is soul. So while you see all these energy vampires and demons and dark energies, right, trying to put you in fear, trying to contract you, just be more in sun. Sun is the medicine. Sun can bring about a lot of clarity, not just to your mental but also spiritual level. And what is mental after all? Mental is the front and spirit is the back. Your back is the spirit. So, for your body, you can self heal itself by herbal medicine, by physical medicine, like taking sauna, like like taking a dip in the ocean, or maybe doing an ice bath, cold showers. This is about the West, Earth, and the South is emotional, emotions, heart, more heart based. That is the South. And the North is the mind. North is the mind, which is why meditation and mental, which is Europe, on the geographical location that points to Europe. So these people have stronger minds because there's more of the more center is around mind, meditation, that is mental. So what sort of herbs? Herbs you might use like thyme, blueberries, lemon, and honey. If you drink this, make it into a tea, thyme, blueberries, sorry, just thyme, lemon, and honey. That is going to make you feel very light and also good for your throat and also to cure the cold. Blueberries are also very good for that. So organic thyme plus lemon, that makes your herbal tea. Basically the usage of herbs to heal your physical health, because herbs would not give you any sort of a side effect, and these are the natural ways of living as per the wheel of medicine. So that is all I wanted to say in this video. We've got to learn to be an alchemist so that when the negative energy is thrown your way and you just want to get rid of that, know that you cannot get rid of that, but you can transform that. You can transform that same energy of anger into learning, because you might find on the other days learning might seem very challenging, but the day you're being challenged by external situation or circumstances, you find that there's something in you that just shines, that is ready to eat, to consume what? Consume knowledge, to learn, to grow. So use all of these triggers from the world to your benefit. And when you automatically land into the light side, into the balance, to the white, then there's no problem, because you're not being tested every day. It happens on and off, but not every day is a challenge. Certain days are. Probably in a week, there might be 2 or 3 days of challenging days, and the rest of days might be okay. So that's all I wanted to say in this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love. Bye for now. Namaste.